we're coming towards another demonstration people get involved in. We try not to make your life difficult, but actually what we're actually trying to do is to introduce some intelligence into our network, not just blocking things in the way that port control does. We actually want to introduce some intelligence into the network. And what I mean by that is that when you plug a device into the network at the moment, it's recognised by the network and you can do certain things. But if we actually introduce something called network access control into the network, it can do so much more with that device we just plugged in. The range of devices that you're plugging into the network, once upon a time it was a PC and that was it. Nowadays it's all sorts of things, and not just through a wire, it's wireless, it's everything else. It might be a Mac, it could be an iPad. I know some of you got iPhones and all that sort of thing. So, quite legitimately, the world is turning consumer. You don't want to use just the devices that you're forced to use. You probably want to use the devices you like to use, devices you find useful, and possibly applications that you can't get otherwise. That's a challenge to the NHS or any corporation to actually do that safely and also efficiently. So by bringing in something like this product, with network access control, we can legitimise the use of anything that you plug in, potentially for you. So if you plug in or come along with your iPhone on the or your iPad on the wireless LAN, it can look at that and test it, basically. You can say, oh, I know what that is, that's an iPad. I've seen one of those before. Everyone around here agrees you can do things with these iPads, but only so much at the moment. You know, you can connect to the internet, but actually you can't get into our PAS system. So it'll allow so much and no more, that sort of thing. So there's all sorts of potential with this, even down to what happens if you want to actually allow patients coming into your surgery to do more than just use a touchscreen on the way in to find out where they've got to go to sit or whatever. Maybe you want to give them some other information or whatever. Maybe you want them to go to a particular web page. All those things could be possible, but you want to do it in a safe-ish way. You want to do it so that you don't have to get an engineer in to do anything. You want to automate the process. I think that people just give you a little demonstration.
Basically, while this is turning itself off, the process I'm actually going to show you is a very basic process. What I'm going to do is essentially turn on my wireless on the laptop. We have a lovely little red that is hidden behind the signs and the cameras up the back there. What that is going to do is inspect my laptop and essentially say, are you on a whitelist of devices? Are you allowed to connect to the wireless? What I've actually said is no. I've said no, I don't want this to connect to the wireless. So what it's going to do is actually prompt me for a message, and I'm going to have to confirm that message before I can then get through to the end destination. The reason we've done it like this is because I want to actually show you that in the time it takes for me to turn on my wireless, connect to the wireless, and actually open up my browser, we can inspect that machine and we can check it against a set of circumstances, a set of criteria to say, are you safe, are you known, or are you unknown? So I apologise again, I'll have my back to you. As you can see, if you can see that actually, the wireless is currently disabled. So I'm just going to enable that, and we should, in time. In any technical demo, we do have to offer up offerings prior to showing anything to the demo gods, because it will all work wonderfully in the office, and I actually had this today with Steve, where I went running across the office and said, look, it's working, this is what we're going to do, and in the time it took me to get from one side of the office to the other, it stopped working. So I've got my fingers crossed. So as you can see there, I've connected to this wireless network here. Now, this is where the fun starts, because I'm just going to try and go to a web page that I have set up behind me, which means I'm going to have to type in, and fingers crossed will come up and say access denied.
Luckily we haven't got any children or animals.
Yeah.
We're all right about something else, right?
Okay.
As you can see, that's come up immediately and said, right, my device is not on my whitelist. I don't know who you are. So, I'm actually going to have to click this login button down here to say, yep, I understand that, and that I acknowledge that you don't know who I am. Now, what we would do in an actual live environment is we would either ask you to log in with your credentials. If you don't have credentials, if you're an engineer that's visiting your site to do some work or a civil system, we can actually prevent guest access, which means that they could put in a set of credentials that we provided, and that would allow them access to the internet. That's it.
So touching on that point,
Yeah.
what we described there, and Nick alluded to it, is your patients have come in, they've sat down in your reception area, they've taken out their iPad, or their Macintosh, or their PC, something that we don't know about as the NHS, and they could utilise the infrastructure that's already there to support clinical care, but they could use it, through something like this, where we could offer up a message that says, welcome to the surgery, are you requiring guest access, or are you an NHS employee? All of those things are possible. What you could look at then is you could push them through to your intranet. If you've got any self-service applications on your intranet, they could use their device. Why would you want to do this? Well, just as much as we talk about consumerisation from the perspective of us bringing our own devices into the business, your patients are changing. Your patients are the kind of people that annoyingly sit there and all you can hear is coming out of their headphones, and they've got those iTouches or the new Android device. So you could start, rather than having, for instance, in my surgery, when you turn up, there's a touchscreen, you can go and touch it. What always crosses my mind is sick people touch that touchscreen. I would rather not touch it. so there's some real, potentially some real benefits there, that you're still going to have that touchscreen, because not everybody, we've still got people that don't have smartphones and iPads and everything, but that is changing. Sorry.
No, that's fine. So essentially all I'm going to do now is continue, which would be basically what Steve's just described, like authenticated. Obviously because we don't have the infrastructure behind us, we can't do the full range of checks. So, voila, I have access to the website. And that is essentially what the demo is. We have checked the machine. We've checked it against a set of criteria. We've made sure that it's safe. Antivirus is up to date. It has got antivirus on it. I still go to devices that don't have antivirus on them. Can't think why, but they're still out there. You're authenticated. You've got the latest patch levels. You'll see the notifications from Microsoft. Oh, we've made this wonderful product. Yeah, it's got a few flaws in it, so we need to release some updates. We can check all of this at this point before we've accessed the web page. And that is it. So I'm going to now...
We turn this off as a slight sideline because it's a little bit of frustration about it. You may have noticed this is Windows 7. Okay, just to crush any of those rumours out there.